Thank you, Anisha. Okay. All right. So let's talk about my superfood that I consider only superfood, and that can help a lot of people pull up your calories. Also, this constant question about how do we pull up calories if anybody is struggling with calories. My superfood is ghee. If you really ask me how I started my journey, what is this one jigsaw puzzle that I had put together for myself? Like when I was studying this new age nutrition, and I was also learning from one Vedji about our health and wellness. So two things came together for me. Like in this modern sciences, they call something they call saturated fat. In Ayurveda, they keep talking about ghee. And for me, when I realized, I still remember the day that I realized that ghee is a saturated fat. That is what we are talking about eating. For me, things fell in place for me. It was like, we want to have saturated fat, and ghee is the solution for it. So I started my journey by having ghee. Okay. And how much ghee I started consuming. Ghee is something that I can gulp in one go. Like, so it was approximately 10-12 spoons of ghee, liquid ghee. So I used to warm it up and drink off my ghee, and that is how I started my day in the early days. And I realized when I started taking my ghee as a first thing in the morning, it helped me great deal in satiating myself, in eradicating my frequent hunger, in pulling up my calories, and so many other things. So for me, ghee is the way to get started. Okay, so you don't have to do 10-12 spoons of ghee, because I was studying a lot and I was super convinced about that this is the way to go ahead, and it worked for me. You can start with 4-5 spoons of ghee. That really works out well. And you don't have to take kora ghee. If you want to take ghee, you can take it in a little bit of milk. It works with a lot of people. Take a little bit of milk, add a little bit of water, warm it up, add up your ghee and drink it off. And or you can, when you make dal, just keep dal pani, a little bit of water of dal. That when we boil dal, there's an extra water. Keep that water ready in your fridge in the morning. Just warm up that water, put a little ghee into it, and then drink it off. Or you can, keep some kind of a green juice or a green soup ready for yourself. Warm it up, add some ghee and have it. Some people have it in just warm up little water, add some ghee into it, add some 2-3 drops of lemon into it, little bit of salt into it, become tasty, drink it off. Some people take it with green tea also. If green tea suits you, you can take green tea, add a little bit of ghee into it and drink it off. Another way to something they call bulletproof coffee, like you can have it in your coffee, you can have butter or ghee in your coffee, blend it really well, coffee, milk, coffee, water and ghee, blend it off nicely and have that. Some people call it, they have given it a name, new age name, it's called bulletproof coffee. That's how you can do it. So there's several ways of doing your ghee. Make it tasty for yourself. And if you don't have dal pani, just take dal, little bit of 1 spoon of dal, add some water into it, make it like a little soupish thing, add some ghee into it, drink it off. So yeah, some people drink it off in curd also, like warm up your curd like a matha, like buttermilk, warm it up a little bit, add a little bit of ghee, drink it off. If you are a sambar eater, if there's a sambar ready at your home, take sambar, drink it off. This other thing called, what do you call in this other drink that South Indians drink?
Rasam.
So take rasam, add a little bit of ghee and drink it off. When I go to, some good places to eat like a buffet, I always first go to this South Indian corner, because with the gunpowder, they have always kept ghee ready. So I go to this corner, I take a little bit of sambar or rasam and then add my ghee into it and drink it off. So there's several ways to drink off your ghee as a first thing in the morning. Super advisable, super food. If you are little bit old in the program and if you are ready to consume saturated fat, this is the way to up your calories and satiate yourself first thing in the morning. You can easily do 30-40 grams of ghee, 45 grams of ghee every morning. At least do it for 6 months regularly. And after 6 months, we can do the blood reports again and we can see how it is working out for you. But do it for 6 months, you will start seeing the effect. People who have not started doing ghee and trying to work out program any other way, my strong recommendation is the best way to go about doing all this is by starting your day with ghee, 4, 5, 6 spoons of ghee. If you're not able to convince yourself for 4, 5, 6 tablespoons of ghee, start with 2 tablespoons of ghee, because you had been having polyunsaturated oils in biscuits, namkeen, rusk, this, that. Even if you have stopped one thing in your life, you are eligible to add saturated fat. The amount of polyunsaturated fat you have eliminated, you can add at least equivalent amount of saturated fat back in your meals. And for some people, coconut oil also works out very well. Coconut oil never worked out for me, but for some people it worked out. So you can do coconut oil as well. But we cannot drink coconut oil as much as we can drink ghee. Ghee, the viscosity of ghee is much better than coconut oil. So we can only do 2 tablespoons or 2 teaspoons of coconut oil. Some people drink a little bit of olive oil also. You can do olive oil also of 30-40 grams. That's also fine. You can drink of that as well if your mind is not okay with ghee. But among all these 3 things that we can drink, ghee is the best. It has no milk isolates. It is purified, and that's what you can start. Which ghee that I use any ghee, cow ghee that is available in the market. I have not gone fancy about it. So Patanjali, Amol, Hudson, any of these brands that I have used, and they have worked out really well for me. So this is what it is about today. If you've not started saturated fat, and if you're trying to work out any other way, there's no other way to strike the balance. This works. This is the best way to start your day. This is the best way to up your calories. This is the best way to satiate yourself, to ignite the alternate energy cycles in your body. So that's what I wanted to talk about. If you have questions to ask, go ahead and ask questions around ghee first, and then you can ask whatever question that you want to ask.
So, Stuti, just as part of my experimentation, so first part is, yes, I did 7-8 months of ghee, I think. Exactly what you said. वो बिल्कुल follow करा. तो अब उसको छोड़ने के बाद one thing I must admit अच्छा भी लगा, क्योंकि it is a difficult process. So I'm not trying to be negative about it, but because I did this for about 7-8 months, and now that I need to get my fat metabolism kicking back, so I have just started. For example, today I started and saying chai ke saath, morning I have my black tea, and I just had a katori of coconut, 65 grams. I do take that. To me, that's like my Ramban at the moment. And I was looking at the fat values. The ghee is like two times more efficient in terms of the grams. So is that a good way of looking at it as well?
No, it's not. See, saturated fat from the animal fat is very different from saturated fat from the plant-based saturated fat. So there's a huge difference between the two. So, when I've been talking about reducing ghee or eliminating ghee, I'm really, it is not heard in a way that I want to talk about. Okay, so I don't say that stop it. What happens is initial days, there is enough amount of carb and protein and, all that. So once we start doing saturated fat first thing in the morning, it kind of helps us regulate our entire day, right? But as you mature in the program, like you had been in the program for an year, so when you mature in the program, then my assumption is that carb has left our food considerably, that at least from breakfast and dinner, there is no carb. So that means when there is no carb in the breakfast or in the dinner, then you can have your saturated fat with the meal that you are doing. If you're doing protein, you can have it with it. Like for example, if I am having Okay, so since I'm an egg eater, so if I'm having egg, then I can have some butter and some ghee with my egg itself, that I don't have to do separately. I don't have to, do it first thing in the morning. If I am in my most of my meals, there's no carbs. So like after practicing for 5 years, there's no carb in my meals. So if I'm eating my dal, I just add ghee to my dal and have it. If I'm having my green vegetables, I just add ghee into it and have it. So now, because the ghee has become part of me, I don't have to drink it separately. Do you get my point? So it's not about leaving it. It's about regulating it in a way that it has become part of your meal now. To begin with, in initial level of the program, do it separately. But as you mature in the program, it will become part of you. In my cooking, there is ghee. In my eating, whatever, there is some amount of ghee or butter or malai. So eliminating will not work. That's why you have fallen off the wagon. It doesn't have to be eliminated. It has to be regulated. It has to become part of your regular meals.
Yeah, I'm hearing you on that. So what's the difference between the animal fat, the sat fat from animal versus the plant?
हाँ, मुझे ऐसे आपको एग्जैक्टली डिटेल में नहीं बता पाऊंगी, पर मेरे को उतना लैंग्वेज में नहीं बता पाऊंगी क्या डिफरेंट है, पर बहुत डिफरेंट है. द काइंड ऑफ and kind of nutrients that we want to get, it's very different in animal fat than plant-based fat. So saturated fat, when we are doing the counting, mathematical counting, it might just come to be same. Okay, this is, for example, if we are doing the mathematical counting of polyunsaturated oil and saturated oil, the counting is the same. If we have 10 grams of polyunsaturated oil, then too we will get 90 calories. If you had 10 grams of ghee, then too we will get 90 calories, right? So calorie content is the same, but the nutrition behind it it's different. So it is different. Okay, it works differently in the body. So that's why I keep saying coconut is not a direct replacement for animal based fat. And the people who are doing, the people who are non-vegetarian, and they also get certain amount of animal fat, and that's fair, that's fine. I mean, they don't have to do ghee per se if they are getting good amount of animal fat. So it works differently.
Yeah. So sorry.